Hey everyone, finished watching the next episode of Beetleborgs, Raiders of the Tomb. Wolfie has fleas. The Hillhurst monsters decide to give him a flea bath. The kids, meanwhile, are trying to come up with a plan to defeat Shadowborg. In early issues of the Beetleborgs comics, Vexor had a device, the Energy Axis. It increased his power. He probably brought it out when he came out of the comic, and the kids think if they can steal it, they could use it for themselves. Art Fortunes warns them that using it could turn them evil. They decide to risk it. They then go out looking for it in random places. Alright. At Hillhurst, Mums and Fangula spray poison to get rid of Wolfie's fleas. This gives Jo an idea. She takes her AV and skywrites a message. Magnivores are weenies. Jo then sees Noxic, Typhus, and Jara from the sky. She relays to the others where they are. Okay, so apparently this was a plan to figure out where the bad guy's base is, even though I thought they already knew where it was. Like, I'm thinking that, like, it's not like the bad guys kept it secret. Noxic ordered deliveries to it. Jo and Roland fight the Magnivores in a park while Drew and Josh head to the cemetery. They argue a lot, but manage to infiltrate the crypt and find the energy axis. Vexor is using it to power up Shadowborg. Josh uses his civilian power of invisibility to sneak in, but when Vexor tries to take back the energy axis, Drew uses his telekinesis to get it back. They run away, but Vexor summons a new monster from the comics to pursue them. Josh stays to hold off the monster while Drew takes the energy axis to the others. The monster is strong, too strong for Josh to fight on his own. Drew uses the energy axis on himself, powering up. He then summons the Thunder Stinger and destroys the energy axis. The monster is shocked. The others make it in time to see Drew in his powered-up form. With his new strength, he manages to send the monster back to the comic. At Hillhurst, Drew makes up with Josh. The monsters have successfully eradicated Wolfie's fleas. Shadowborg appears outside and threatens everyone. Even without the energy axis, he's still functioning. This episode is pretty involved. There's a lot of stuff happening. I think they went a bit overboard. The story could have easily been made a little simpler by streamlining what was going on. The B story of the monsters trying to help Wolfie get rid of fleas is funny, and I think that probably could have been its own episode. These Shadowborg episodes were compiled into a VHS tape back in the 90s and condensed most of the story. Usually, B-plots were cut out. For example, Heather is barely present in the faux movie. On the other hand, the plot about Wolfie having fleas, all there, not a single scene cut. I'm curious what the priorities were with the tape. Maybe the crew figured out what worked and what didn't and edited accordingly. The energy axis is cleverly set up. It turns out it's that wand that Vexor has been using the past couple of episodes on Shadowborg. The way it's first brought up, I thought it would be some completely new unseen thing. The initial search for it is really strange. I don't know why the Beetleborgs think the energy axis or the Magnivores would just be out in random places. For some reason, there's some references to a few old monsters here. Roland and Drew both find things that remind them of Magnivore monsters. Roland finds a rat which reminds him of Gargantua Rat, and Drew finds a skull that reminds him of Mace Warrior. We don't get flashbacks or anything here, just vague references that the things remind them of past monsters. Maybe they were originally planning this to be a clip show. Joe's plan is also odd. I thought the kids already knew where Vexor's base was. I guess maybe they don't, but it's weird because, again, it's not like they kept it secret. Noxic was ordering stuff. Drew and Josh are way more angry with each other in this episode than in the past. They're good actors, I just don't know why their rivalry was amped up here. Josh's civilian power is invisibility. I don't know if that's come up before. I honestly missed it if it did. There's an odd edit when Drew threatens the monster with the energy axis. He leaps into the air and points the weapon at the monster as if he's going to fire at him. But then there's a split-second pause before Drew lands back on the ground without having fired the device. It looks like maybe there was intended to be an effect shooting from the energy axis and the monster dodges it. As it is, though, there were no effects. It's really weird. I wonder if maybe the crew was overworked on this particular episode. There are way more effects than usual here. The monster of this episode I thought may be an original creation not from Beefighter. There's no Japanese footage used for it, and it's just a mask, gloves, and baggy clothes with a staff. It turns out it was from Beefighter, at least some of it was. The baggy clothes are similar but different from what the Beefighter monster wears. The monster in Beefighter also had a pickle barrel on its back. That monster didn't have a staff. I'm not sure where the staff came from. Drew's power-up isn't super impressive. He gets wings and little rockets on his legs. It's fine, but a little overhyped for what it is. Art Fortunes asks Drew if he can draw the power-up into a future comic. That made me think, he knows about Vexor now. Will he try avoiding writing powerful monsters in the future? Will he try to write monsters and bad guys that are easier to defeat? What about the Beetleborgs? Will he write them stronger? Will that have any effect on the kids in the real world? Cool episode. Definitely looking forward to the last part. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.